Noah. All recti.
I
Okay, so
Okay, so as you might know, when wait, let me mute the stream because I can hear myself and it's cringe. Uh,
imagine my reality right
when
now.
this got released, Kobe did some testing with his friends in KMS to
Okay.
look at the drop rate of the Erda fragments,
Uh-huh.
which resulted in different numbers, which are shown at the A, B, C, D. A being 0% drop rate, meaning you have to kill 3.6k mobs to get one Erda fragment.
Mm-hmm.
B being 100%, which halves that requirement to 1.8k mobs,
Mm-hmm.
which then gets lowered to 1200, then to 900, then to 720, which are C, D, and E in this graph. And when we look at the mathematical function that this pattern indicates, it is identical to a fourth polynomial, which means that after E, which is the lowest case in this in our current math, in
Wait,
the current things we see.
can Korea only go up to 300%?
Yeah, so that's what one of the hypotheses is we have is according to this polynomial, after 400% drop rate, the efficiency decreases to the point where it actually decreases the drop rate of certain items. But normally, when this happens in a game, it makes sense when you look at why they would choose the fourth polynomial over the third. Because a third polynomial would create a situation where at 480% drop rate, the drop rate of any item will be 100%, which
Does
they
it
won't
really?
want
Wait,
because
does it go down that quickly though?
yeah, if in the third polynomial it does. I
Oh.
have a screenshot of that graph.
Because I mean, this seems like a linear reduction, right?
Now it's in theory it looks logarithmic because it slows down over time.
Oh no, it's
But
3.6.
if you zoom out on this graph like far enough, it uh, 1 to 1 represents a fourth polynomial function,
Is that like a
which
fucking?
is fourth polynomial is like to the power 4.
Is it like fucking just code kind of doing weird stuff?
No, it's numbers interacting in the. If you look at the formula that's behind this graph,
Mm-hmm.
wait, let me send that to you.
Because I can see for B it's like
Actually, I'll
one
send it
point.
in chat so
For B
people
it's
can see.
1.9, and then for D it's like 100% versus 300% is like exactly half.
Yeah, so this in chat, this is the formula that's behind this line,
So I'd expect like
and x
force.
being the drop rate that you have.
Hmm.
So what this causes, it's either that. So one of the hypotheses we had is because 400% is not doable, is impossible to obtain in KMS, like in any situation, even
Mm-hmm.
with the best bishop, everything. Then the bishop and Demon Slayer, Demon Cry, you can never reach this. I don't think with Nexon's track record that they build in a failsafe for this.
Hmm. But
I don't expect this from them.
but most people won't really be going over 400, right?
If you have inner and all the drop lines, you're at 409.
Yeah, you're barely over, right? So you wouldn't.
And 409 in that case, with this current scope, will be equivalent to 387, which would be lower than the cap without an inner ability.
Hmm. Yeah, because it goes up
Um,
faster. Well, 409 you'd be like
yeah,
here, right? So
yeah. So if you, I graphed this in Python to calculate the exact numbers, and they were basically identical.
hmm.
400 is the ultimate is the ultimate low. This graph. So it's kind of funny. Yeah, so 400 and not a single drop rate more is the best possible situation if the assumptions we made and of the
Yeah.
limited data we have from Kobe are correct.
Because we could be rounding errors on his data, right?
Yeah, that. And there could also be a situation where, because we only have these limited data points, we only have ABCD.
Mm-hmm.
E is something we made ourselves based on ABCD.
Yeah.
It could create a situation where if we have more data, the data becomes more logarithmic
Logarithmic?
and goes
Yeah.
down slowly, and
Mm-hmm.
even it's like becomes basically a straight curve after a while.
Yeah. Just a line.
But nevertheless, this also reinforces the idea that people had years ago, where 400% was a actual cap of drop rate in the game.
Mm-hmm. Before
Because
FAMs,
I've
we couldn't
heard
really
this,
get there either, right? Even during like 2x
yeah,
events or
I've
something.
heard this be thrown around by people in the past.
Mm-hmm.
It's died down a bit. Like that hasn't been a topic of conversation in the community, but like 3 years ago, this was something we were talking about a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with the introduction of familiars, is when this happened.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. And if this, it from a
Big if true.
programming standpoint, it also makes sense that they choose a function like a polynomial, because polynomials are the easiest mathematical functions to understand. Because polynomial is just a fancy word for to the power of.
Mm-hmm.
4 polynomials to the power of 4, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And those are easy to program, while a logarithmic is harder to implement. So,
And would it also be a
given what
failsafe
we
in
know from
case?
Nexon, given their track record, I wouldn't be surprised that this is correct. But
But
we are making a lot of assumptions.
would it also be like a failsafe if someone tries to like hack the system and give themselves like 1,000,000% drop rate, then they would just get nothing anymore?
Yeah. Now, so yes and no, because the way a fourth polynomial looks is at E, it starts going up. But
Oh,
then once you reach 600, it shoots down.
oh, okay.
Like
Then
really fast.
yeah, I don't have the mathematical like vision to zoom out easily and then just figure out how a fourth and third
Yeah,
and yeah,
that's fine. That's why I'm not typing this and
yeah.
explaining it.
Yeah. If you zoom out, it
uh,
does it keep going like up and down, but like in a really
no,
weird
it
way?
goes up once and then shoots down all the way until like I think if you reach 800 drop rate, it reaches its peak,
Mm-hmm.
and then it go at 850 it's below zero. So you would have to kill negative X mobs to get one drop, which just
Mm-hmm.
breaks the entire system.
Oh, is it like a big W kind of thing, or like an upside down?
Yeah,
Yeah.
basically.
Okay. I don't
So
think.
it's kind of funny though that we got to this conclusion because
Mm-hmm.
we never expected this. We were for fun. We were making a
Fucking nerds. No, yeah,
calculator
go on.
that would tell us how many webs it would take us to
Mm-hmm.
reach a specific set of each level of your origins. Your six job skills. So like
Right.
level
Yeah.
5 origin, level 12 mastery, and like level 3, 4, 6, and 8 of your enhancement course, and how many webs that would take. And for that, we needed to know to calculate the drop rate because that's one of the input variables. And we figured this out on the way.
Is it because you have that graph of like what's a level number 1 and then number 2 and number 3?
Yeah. So I wanted to see how long it would take to reach certain points in the tables that
Yeah.
we have
Yeah.
for certain classes.
Just because it's faster doesn't it's stronger doesn't mean that you should prioritize it if the other one is faster, maybe, right?
So the way the Cadenic the table is set up is it looks at how many fragments you have to spend
Mm-hmm.
for an X amount of final damage.
Yeah. Okay. So if you have the
And
same
so
speed, then it should always be in that order. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it doesn't, and you're always, especially in Reboot, gated by the fragments rather than the souls.
Yeah. Souls is
Because
because
the
that's from
fragments,
boss, right?
the souls are boss and mobs,
Yeah.
and fragments are only mobs.
Yeah.
So because on average you would get with 300 drop rates, which is what most of us will be grinding with,
Mhm.
one fragment every 900 mobs, and roughly one soul Urda every hour. So in an hour you would get 20 fragments and one Earth soul, which
Mhm.
is like in comparison, the solar data is just infinitely more.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun
Uh,
times.
yes, math for fun. It's kind of crazy how I do math all the time when I'm at work, and then I come home and I do it even more for
Do the
MapleStory.
more math, yeah. The amount of people playing this game who have like at least one spreadsheet where like keeping track of stuff is probably around 100%, I think.
Well, I think it's funny with the community, especially with Reddit, is whenever you mention things like this, people don't believe this. Or whenever you mention the cost calculators that exist, people don't believe these calculators, even
With
though it's statistically proven that they're better. That is better to Star Force in the Star Force rule, for example. That is better to Star Catch. But they're like, no, you have to be in this map with
I mean, that has to be
this.
memes, right? That has to just be irony, no? That has to be
To some
jokes.
people, I don't think it is.
Oh,
Yeah, the
God.
off event magic, that stuff.
Oh yeah, best event is off event. Yeah, because their friend tapped off event one time and got 3 items to 22. So
Yeah.
or like that, I got
That's
all my items to 22 off event. When do you ever tap on event? No. Well, yeah, no shit, Sherlock. That's just like
yeah, or like I've hit everything in this map. Do you ever spend outside this map? No.
no. Yeah, it's heck. Well, yeah, no shit. It's like when the what was it the fortune teller said you will meet the love of your life when you're carrying a red rose, and then the guy starts carrying a red rose every single day, and then it happened, and he did meet the love of his life while he was carrying a red rose. Yeah, good job. That was every single day, right?
Damn, I should start carrying red roses.
Well, only if a fortune teller tells you to.
Aren't you a fortune teller?
Yes, and I'm saying you have to wear an orange hat. There you go.
I already do it on King's Day, so maybe in King's Day I'll find the love of
Kings,
my life.
yeah, dude. And what if you would do next year? You'll come back like, oh my god, you said it.
Oh my god, imagine.
Yeah,
Okay, but so
interesting.
that's math.
That's math.
Yes, I
Yeah.
am a nerd, but we already knew that.
So that'd be better to go to 400. So what do you want to
Staying at
do?
exactly 400, so technically having 6% inner as your final line would be the best case.
Or take like holy symbol out of the level 5
Uh,
slot?
just always have a bishop with you.
Well, if you take a holy symbol out of level 5,
It
then
won't change much, right?
but it'll change a little bit, right? Because you go, oh, you got down 2%. Yeah, so you go down to 407.
Yeah, then you still need. Uh,
Hmm.
then you can get your inner to 8.
No. That'd be easier to roll, right? Because that's an epic line.
mean,
I don't think
you can
6%
also,
exists, but 8% exists.
if you have inner and you don't. So if you have 15 inner, you don't have to pop a WAP to reach a good drop rate because you'll be at
Yeah.
289, and a WAP would technically decrease your drop rate by 2%.
Yeah, 389 would, because you'd be higher at 389 than at 409. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then you'd
Which
lose
is
meso though.
yeah, but if you're training, yes,
just go one line.
I mean, that 2% drop rate for training doesn't matter. Then the meso is more worth more.
Use a WAP, but just
for
go
bossing,
9 lines only, right? That'd be better.
yeah.
But then is it
This
so?
shit's so weird.
This is why we just need more transparency on like how the shit works. Could this code ever be found if people were to like hypothetically, if people were to data mine, could they find this code somewhere?
If they get the source code, yes.
Oh, so we
Data
need
mining this is impossible.
All right, who is going to? Who's going to? Wait,
it's going to
who's
go
going
into the
inside?
mainframe and
It's like
into the next
it's like the Matrix. Yeah, we have to go into the mainframe. Talk to the source. Get one of those big spikes at the back of our heads, and just
yeah,
so we
these
can see the
things like
code.
drop rates and tier rates and all that stuff is all server sided.
Yeah.
And the only things you can data mine are things in your client.
Well, so potentially something we need to look out for.
Potentially something we need to look out for.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't think it applies to a lot of people, but it is something interesting to
No,
think
definitely.
about, especially if you have to you have to incorporate the things we know about the behavioral patterns of Nexon in this to
Mm-hmm.
really figure out what is the most possible outcome. Because this on itself, for all we know, they did put this 400 cap in their code, and then even if you're 409, it doesn't make a difference.
Yeah, because we see. I mean, if you look at your own drop rate in game, it says item potential can increase the value up to 200%, but wealth, and it says item drop rates can increase in total by up to 400%. But it
So it
says
says something about this, but it's always this is KMS text again, so it's
Yeah.
hard to see.
Well,
I mean, maybe this means that they did put in this cap.
Yeah.
So even if you're 409, it's 400.
Well, but then they have to wonder about the quality of the translation because it says item drop rate can increase by up to 400%, which means
Yeah, and then we get to the same argument. For, does it mean 500%,
Yeah.
or does it mean?
if it can increase by 400, then that means you have 100% base drop rate, right? Because you have like 100% base damage as well, and 100% meso obtained
Yeah, and
base
then
as well.
also it says item drop rate, not additional item drop rate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And what counts as an item then? Is it the same?
But then again, if it's 0, it doesn't mean you don't get any drops ever. So it's
Yeah.
all of these things.
Yeah, because the
Sometimes
graph.
I wish we in GMS had a external publisher like MapleStory, like CMS, because they get way more transparency because of the external publisher.
Yeah, well, a transparent external publisher specifically, right?
I mean, it just that's would be a given, right? Because an external publisher would benefit directly from being transparent, rather than Nexon who doesn't give a shit.
Mm. Wait, shouldn't there be 4 leaves in this star thing now? Aren't we in chapter 4?
If you claimed the chapter 4 reward,
I've only ever redeemed the chapter 3 one. No, chapter 4. I'm not done yet, bro.
yeah, that's what I mean.
I have to do everything.
No, you have to claim the bottom rewards, I think, for the start to, or be able to, I think.
I thought it was just the. It just showed which chapter we were on because they were doing like the amount of stars on the Twitter.
Oh, I thought it had to do with the star pieces you have collected.
Oh. I don't know though. I got the budding sprout though. I mean, I have it ready to collect. I did all of the stamps.
Okay, but you already did a lot, right, in your Human Adventure? You did like a lot of the quests already.
Well, most of yeah, but that was all before the Maple Guide existed, and a lot of the stuff didn't.
And to do it again.
Yeah, a lot of the stuff didn't or didn't exist before then, right? Like all of the stuff like with Pathfinder, everything that came out just didn't really exist yet when I was doing all the stuff on it. So I had to do like, I think I had to do 2 here. I had to do the Mushroom Castle, the Sleepywood one, Orbis, Aquarium. No, not Aquarium. For mine, Ariant.
Math off with someone about that one yesterday, about that
Almost
title.
all.
He was saying that if you look at how much time it takes to get the medal, title, sorry.
Title, yeah.
It's never worth it, depending on how much time you could be training getting at the stats.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, but that is theoretically, yes, but realistically, how many webs are you gonna skip by getting this? So let's say it takes 15 hours.
I think it's...
You're not gonna be training those 15 hours.
But you could be.
No, but you could be, but nobody realistically is doing that. Right?
Well, I think the question is if someone...
Realistically, you skip 2 or 3 webs instead of... so normally you do a web a day, which is above average, I'd say, for the average player. But for the sake of argument, let's say that's what you do. And you take 3 days to finish this. So 5 hours a day, you skip those 3 webs. So you skip 6 hours of training. How would that change the outcome of his math? And he was like, yeah, but that's not realistic. I'm like, how is that not realistic? With training 15 hours, training 24/7 is. And then he got mad.
Well, yeah, you have to set your parameters, right? Like 10%, what is the base amount that you're adding the 10% to so you can know how much final EXP it is? And then how many hours is the person actually training to see if it's worth, like, how many hours are they sacrificing? If you can't really agree on those parameters, then you can't really agree whether it's worth it or not. You have to...
Yeah, but his opinion was We have to look at the theoretical math rather than the applicable math because that says more.
Well, yeah, you could put like a limit, right? You could say like, well, if someone trains, like, because it's valued for 3 months. If someone trains less than this per day, then it's worth it, and if they train more than this, it's not worth it, or something like that.
You graph it on like a percentage scale on how worth it would be.
Yeah, exactly. But I think pretty quickly, if someone is like a hard grinder, pretty quickly it becomes not worth it, I think. Or, well, I guess the more you do, the more worth it would be, right?
There's a lot of factors that come into play, right? Because it's also for someone who might normally be able to only play 5 hours or 2 hours a day, 3 hours a day. Maybe because of the content and the change of pace that getting the title will get you. They might be able to play 4 hours instead, and that's also a factor you have to put in.
Yeah, that's a hard one. Yeah,
that's a hard one to measure.
But then they might have to take like a whole week of not training at all to get the title in the first place, and then miss out on triple EXP coupons that expire, and then.
But if you have to train a web every other day, coupons expiring. But I don't. If you do a web a day, most people around endgame who would, where this even applies to, because anyone below that, don't even worry about optimizing. There's no point. Just play the fucking game.
Yeah. Well, what if someone is like a completionist and they almost already have all the stamps, and they can get it pretty quickly?
That's also a factor, yeah.
And then they get like, oh, and now I'm actually going to train. Usually I wouldn't, but now I have an EXP title, so now I'm going to train more. Because there's also a prepared spirit pendant and triple EXP from the, yeah. Yeah,
triple EXP? You think I can claim those rewards this week?
I can't either. I'm getting scammed as well. And I have a whole inventory full of 2x that I don't want to use.
I had 28 MVPs expiring.
Nice. That's like me every week almost.
I am MVP Diamond though, so that's probably a cost.
Beautiful, beautiful.
I don't spend on this game, by the way.
Any more for the rest of this month, or?
Only MVP Diamond.
Okay. Other than that, you're free to play.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm.
You gonna do some more nerd stuff?
I'm gonna sleep. I have work tomorrow.
Oh my god, working more nerd shit. See, told
you.
More
nerd shit. Yup. Goodbye. I hope I made your day more complicated.
Yeah. Well, now we need to, think of that in our rearview mirrors and hope that we don't run into the 40 plus area.
Yeah, if you have to believe our stats window, that wouldn't be an issue.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know to what extent you want to trust Nexel.
Yeah, that's what a lot of it comes down to.
Okay,
all right.
Goodbye.
Well, thanks. Have a good one. Good night.